Miss Cheater, there's someone on the iPhone trying to enter. Can you find out who that is?
And Your Honor, that's Desmond Taylor's mother.
Oh, okay.
I needed her to ask her some questions on record because I will be asking for a signature bond in his case, Your Honor.
Okay, well, give me a second. Let's put this on the record. I'm gonna do him last then.
Okay,
And
thank you.
I'll if you can contact her, let her know, I'll let her in shortly.
Okay, I sure will. I'll give her a phone
Thank you.
call. Thank
Okay.
you.
Mhm. I'm gonna wait until Mr. Dabney comes back. Well, I'll wait. I won't start, but I'm gonna go ahead and do the announcement. All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm Judge Pitts. I'm going to make a brief announcement before we get started. Each of you have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one may be appointed to represent you. There is an application that you would have needed to fill out. There's possibly a fee for you to pay. Some of you, I understand, have filled out the application and have already been appointed. So you will have an opportunity to speak with the Attorney Dabney. If you haven't already, it'll be after court. You also have the right to a trial. At your trial, you have the right to see, hear, and cross-examine any witnesses that the city might bring to testify against you. You have the right to bring your own witnesses, and you have the right to testify on your own behalf. You also have the absolute right to remain silent and to know that your silence will not be held against you. Additionally, you have a right to a probable cause or a preliminary hearing. At that hearing, the officer will be present, possibly any victims or witnesses. Everyone will have a chance to be heard, and the court at that time will determine whether a crime has been committed and then whether it's more likely than not that you are the person who committed the crime. If the court finds that you are the person who committed the crime, or more than likely, then there's probable cause and the charge will be moved to the next step. If there is no probable cause, then the charges are dismissed. That does not happen today. That is a separate hearing that must be scheduled. Today, you're here for a first appearance. What that means is you are here for me to inform you of your charges, set your bond, and give you your next court date. All right, I'm going to go ahead and allow her in. Just going to wait until she comes in so I can be sure she remains on mute.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, if you'll remain on mute until we call your name. Ma'am, please remain on mute. Okay, I've muted her.
Okay.
All righty. First person, sorry, sir, you're sitting there. Go ahead and tell me your name.
D'Amico Whitehurst.
Mr. Whitehurst. All right. This was the gentleman who requested court-appointed attorney. I did review his application and he has been appointed. This was a theft by shoplifting, as well as a failure to appear. Attorney Dabney?
Yes, Your Honor. I would just request that this case be reset just to give me an opportunity to speak with Mr. Whitehurst, so I can see the direction that he would like to take in his case.
All right. Mr. Whitehurst, now that you've been appointed to the public defender, he's going to need an opportunity to speak with you. So you'll be brought back on Friday, okay? In the meantime, your bond remains the same at $2,000. Do you have any questions?
No.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. Mr. Alexandre? All right, sir, you were also here on Monday informed of your theft by shoplifting with the failure to appear, and subsequently you've been appointed to the public defender. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Attorney Dabney.
Yes, Your Honor. For purposes of today, we would be asking for the failure to appear just to be time served, since he has served, I believe, 4 days in custody at this time. Upon looking at his case for the theft by shoplifting, given his criminal history, this would have to be sent over to Fulton County Superior Court. He's had more than 4 theft by shoplifting convictions in his record. And I did explain that to him when I spoke with him at the jail.
All right, thank you. Mr. Alexandria, if you'll raise your right hand.
Yes.
Do you swear or affirm the information you provide to the court is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Before I go any further, it looks like you may have a question.
Yes, is my bond still the same? Cause I supposed to have bond out last night. Do I still have my bond?
Your bond is going to still be the same, correct? Your
Okay,
bond
yeah.
hasn't changed.
Okay, so, so I supposed to have bond out last night, obviously that, it should happen today, so when I get out, do I report back to, do I report back over here or?
Well, sir, I haven't gone any further. I think your questions are premature because right now you're still in East Point Jail. So until we resolve something in East Point, you're going to remain in East Point and post a bond. Did you understand what your attorney just said? Apparently he spoke with you.
Yes. You see, I just got served a year for child when I was in Rice Street. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to get time served, but he said he has to upgrade it. You know what I'm saying? I was just trying to get this thing resolved, not have to go right back to Rice Street.
All right, Mr. White, Mr. Alexandra, I think Attorney Dabney, you're going to need to speak with him again.
Okay, that's fine, Your Honor. I'll give him a phone call.
All right, so do you want to reset this to Friday?
Yes, Your Honor. Hopefully by then he'll be able to bond out, but if not, we can address it on Friday, Your Honor.
All right. All right, Mr. Alexandra, it sounds like you have a lot more questions for your attorney
Yeah.
regarding your case. So
Yeah.
he's asked if this is going to be reset to Friday.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Hopefully all your questions will be answered at that time and you'll be able to resolve whatever can be resolved here.
Okay.
All right.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Daniels. And Miss Cheater, who did you say wasn't going to be out right now?
Baker and Lawson.
Baker and Lawson. Okay. Just want to make a little note so I don't call. All right, Mr. Daniels, you were reset from Monday as well on the state charge of loitering with the special conditions and a staying away and $2,000 bond. You were appointed to Mr. Dabney, Attorney Dabney.
Yes, Your Honor. I did have a chance to speak with Mr. Daniels, and we would like to schedule this case for a PC hearing at a later time.
All right. One moment.
Okay.
Ms. Cheater, do we have a date for the PC hearing?
Next Wednesday.
All right, so this is going to be set, I believe that's May 30th, 31st?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Mr. Daniels, your attorney has asked for probable cause hearing, so this case will be reset to next Wednesday. All right,
Okay.
do you have any questions?
I had a paper that was sent to me that says something about don't return to the address and I have a judicial release or something.
Okay, sir, you'll have to speak up because I can barely hear you.
I have this paper from the court. It says that I have a judicial release and don't return to the address that I was at.
Okay. You have to, in order to be released, you have to post the bond that was set on Monday, which was the $2,000 bond. And you are correct. You do have special conditions not to go back to that address.
But I signed for it.
I'm sorry?
I signed the paper and I got a copy of the paper. So I just.
What, I don't understand your question. Let me ask you to sit back a little because you're going in and out. What is your question about?
No, I don't have a question.
Okay. All right. Attorney Dabney will be in touch with you again, okay? Thank you, sir. Shahid Robinson.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, Mr. Robinson, you were reset from Monday as well.
Yes,
for the
ma'am.
disorderly conduct and the failure to appear with the $2,000, excuse me, with a $1,500 bond.
Yes, ma'am.
You are continuing to represent yourself?
Yes, ma'am, I was, hopefully, I was, hoping to get it, to get this, hopefully, time served, because I've been locked up since, Thursday. While I was actually at work, I was going over, I was put over, and like you said, it was on me, which I said, because, I had moved from 1373 Pinewood Drive, so I now live at 765 McDaniel Street. So I was not aware of the FTA, but either way, I've been locked up since Thursday. My car is still collecting the debt, like I told you Monday. So I had to take care of that. And I don't actually think I can afford it, because I had just paid rent the night that I got arrested Thursday night. So I was hoping that, just hoping that I can get time served for it, or if not time served, if I can get some community service, because that's the only thing that I can really afford. I know this doesn't make a difference, but I just recently got out maybe 3 years ago from doing a 10-year sentence, and I've been doing pretty good. This was a little cough up right here, the disorderly conduct. So I was just hoping that I could just get some type of, somebody to just work with me on behalf of the situation that's at hand.
I don't understand what you mean, get someone to work with you.
Well, so I don't know how you guys do it at East Point, but and I don't want to tell you how to do things.
Well, let me say this. Let me say this. We don't work any different than any other court. If you have a charge, you can enter a plea and you'll suffer whatever the punishment is. You have two charges. One is a failure to appear. The other is disorderly conduct. The disorderly conduct is under a city code. Let me make sure I'm saying this right before I go on. Let me look at your case. One moment. Yes, your disorderly conduct is under a city code, which means you could be facing up to 6 months in jail and or up to $1,000 fine. That's the maximum punishment on this. So we don't work any different than any other court in the state, in that in order to be sentenced, you must enter a plea to resolve the case. The sentence is up to me.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you asking to resolve the case today?
Hopefully, ma'am, yes. And
Okay.
I just wanted to let you know what the situation was.
No need to repeat. I heard everything that you said from today as well as on Monday. However, the fact that your car is there, the fact that you failed to miss court, as you just admitted you moved and didn't inform the court, and the fact that there's some financial issue does not change whether or not you're sentenced to time. I need to let you know what the maximum punishment is. And if you want to resolve it, fine. I heard you ask for time served, but I have to consider whether I'm going to do that or not.
Yes, ma'am. And I just wanted, just to let you know, because I'm actually in a situation. So you are a judge, and I know that, what you say is supreme. So that's just the situation, because I don't even know how I'm going to get out of the situation. I wanted to.
Sir, I understand that, but your situation has nothing to do with your sentence. I heard your situation. I'm just saying that there's no need to repeat it. I heard the situation that you explained to me just now and on Monday, but I'm just making sure you understand that your situation doesn't change what the maximum punishment could be.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you do want to resolve this today?
Yes.
Okay. If you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the information you provide to the court is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. Just so we're clear, you have the two charges. One is a failure to appear, where you failed to appear in court on your original court date of January 10th, 2022 for the disorderly conduct. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And then the second charge that you have is the original charge, excuse me, is disorderly conduct, and the second charge would be the failure to appear. Is that your understanding?
Yes, the failure to appear is for the disorderly conduct, right?
That is correct.
Yes, ma'am.
And so on the disorderly conduct, you understand you could be facing up to 6 months in jail and or up to $1,000 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that if you're entering a plea today, you're waiving or giving up those rights? That means you're giving up the right to an attorney, you're giving up the right to a trial, to cross-examine any witnesses, to bring your own witnesses, to question witnesses, and to remain silent. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And you are representing yourself. Sir?
Yes, ma'am. So can I ask one more question?
Sure.
So, because I don't want to do the wrong thing. Like I said, what I'm hoping to happen doesn't mean that it has to happen. I was hoping that if I can get some kind of community service or time served. So,
Sir, one moment. You've already asked me that. What is your question?
So you're saying if I say that I'm waiving my right to an attorney, you saying that what I'll be putting it in your hands, and whatever you say, it is what it is.
That is correct.
All right, so I think I'd like to take my chance with that because I really don't know what to do, honestly.
Okay, so you're going to move forward representing yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and as to the charge of disorderly conduct and failure to appear, how are you pleading?
Guilty.
And are you entering a guilty plea as to both charges?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you entering these pleas freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anyone forced, threatened, or promised you anything to enter a plea?
No, ma'am.
All right, I'll accept your guilty plea and I will follow what you requested, which is time served. And that's as to both charges.
Thank you very kindly.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Mr. Robinson,
Oh, I'm sorry.
they're gonna bring you a document for you to sign. It's going into everything that we just discussed. You'll have to notate on there the guilty plea on both charges. And someone is there, they're going to assist you, make sure you get it filled out correctly, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Once I get that and it's processed, you'll be released unless there's something else holding you, which I'm not aware of, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck, sir. Make sure you change your address in the future.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Jones? One moment, Mr. Jones. Is it Durante Morel Jones, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, you have two charges. A new charge of false name, given a false name, and the old charge, which is also given a false name where you failed to appear in court. Your bond is a total of $2,000, $1,000 on the false name and $1,000 on the failure to appear. Your failure to appear, the court date you missed was September 27, 2021, from an incident of false name from August 21st of 2021. Do you understand?
Yes.
Will you be able to post bond?
Yes. I've been here since Sunday.
Okay, but you going to post bond?
Can I have time, sir? If I've been here since Sunday.
No, sir, I'm not entertaining a plea at this time.
Okay,
So will you or will you not be able to post bond?
I will be able to postpone.
All right, you also started filling out an application, but you don't have any information on there about income. Are you going to represent yourself or do you want to be considered for a court-appointed attorney?
Court-appointed attorney.
Okay, if you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the information you provide to the court is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, self you got?
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't put down the income. You can lower your hand, I'm sorry. You didn't put down your income. You put part-time and some other information, but not how much you earn from your job.
I earn like $150 a week.
Okay, one moment. I believe that's going to qualify you, but let me just verify. All right, so I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. And Attorney Dabney.
Thank you, Your Honor. And Mr. Jones, I'll be giving you a phone call later today after court to discuss your case with you, as well as how to bond out, okay?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Jones, if you are unable to bond out, they'll bring you back on Friday, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think, is Mr. Taylor, are you the only person that hasn't been seen at this time? Come on, Mr. Taylor.
Mr. Geis. Yes. Mr. Geis.
Mr. Geis, okay, I'll come back to you, Mr. Geis. All right, Mr. Taylor.
Yeah.
No, Mr. Taylor, I'm coming back to Mr. Geis. Mr. Taylor, he's not in there? Okay, come on up, Mr. Geis. Mr. Geis, you were here on Monday for a probation violation, is that correct? Mr. Geis?
Yes.
All right, Attorney Dabney, you were appointed to Mr. Geis.
Yes, Your Honor, and I did have an opportunity to speak with Officer Golson as well as my client. We have come to a consent, and I can publish that for the record, Your Honor, for your consideration.
Yes, please.
Okay, the consent was to revoke 60 days and terminate case, suspended upon the defendant paying $250 to be reinstated and released, and to pay $184 per month thereafter until all fines are paid off.
All right, and Mr. Geis is admitting to the violation?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Geis, if you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the information you provide to the court is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yeah.
You can lower your hand. Mr. Geis, you understand your rights?
Yes.
And you are here for probation revocation hearing? Can you sit back for just a second? I think when you all sit that close, it goes in and out. You're here for probation revocation hearing? Nope, that didn't work either. Move up a little bit. It's the microphone, sorry.
No problem. I
There you
am
go.
here for the probation revocation hearing.
Okay, thank you. And you're being represented by Attorney Dabney? And on your violation, it's for underlying charges of suspended license, following too close, and driving under the influence. Is that correct?
It is
And how are you pleading?
guilty.
And are you entering this guilty plea freely and voluntarily?
I am.
Has anyone forced, threatened, or promised you anything to enter a plea? All right, sir, I will accept your guilty plea and I will file the recommendation, the consent agreement. Any questions?
So let me just make sure it's pay $250. That gets me out, and then I pay $184 a month to make sure I get the rest of my probation as well.
Is that correct, Attorney Dabney? I'm not looking at it.
Yes, that's correct. If
right.
you'll stay in custody until that money is paid, though. So if you don't pay it, then it'll be the 60 days. However, whenever payment is processed to probation and they receive a receipt, then you will be released and they'll send over a jail release form, okay?
And Mr. Golson, I do want this to go on the record. So if you would raise your right hand and then put on the record the violation. If you swear or affirm the information you provide to the court is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor. What was posed by Attorney Dabney is correct. Do you want me to read out what the violations were, or?
Yes, just for the record, the actual violation, so we're all clear.
Yes, ma'am. He was placed, is it Geis?
Yeah, you're right, Mr. Geis.
Geis, okay. Mr. Geis was placed on probation for driving on suspended license, following too close to DUI less safe. The August term 2022 was August the 9th. Given 36-month probation, a fine of $2,090. He's in arrears, $44 in fees. and 2,090 is fine and a $200 warrant fee. He has 2 years and 9 months, 16 days remaining. That was as of Monday. The recommendation is to revoke 60 days and terminate the case, but suspended upon a $250 payment, and then he will pay $184 thereafter, as Attorney Dabney has published, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Yes,
I-
ma'am.
Again, Mr. Geis, I will follow the recommendation. And Attorney Dabney, I'll wait for the paperwork to be signed.
Yes, Your Honor, and I'll sign on behalf of my client. I'll get that to you very shortly, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there, thank you, Mr. Geis. Is there anyone in there who has not been seen? If you have not been seen by me, come on up to the window. Sir, your name?
William Brown.
I'm sorry, last name?
Brown.
Willie Brown?
Brown.
William Brown?
Yes.
Or Mr. Brown, your case is being bound over to state court. I believe this is a theft by shoplifting, but let me confirm before I'm gonna make sure. Yes, Mr. Brown, this is a theft by shoplifting. Based on your history, your theft by shoplifting will make this a felony, so actually it goes over to Fulton County Superior Court.
Okay.
Okay? Do you have any questions?
No.
All right, thank you. Right, ma'am, we should be bringing your son out shortly. I thought he was in with this group, so he'll be out in a minute, okay? Thank you. I think you're on mute, but I see you. Thank you. We can bring Mr. Taylor out.
If you all could line up at the door so that they know that you're ready to go out.
All right, this is not Mr. Taylor. Sir, your name?
Lawson, Charles Lawson. Got a phone, Bruce?
No, you're fine. Can we make sure that Mr. Taylor comes out next? Mr. Lawson, excuse me. You were here on Monday, informed of your new charge of criminal trespass, as well as your contempt where you violated the criminal trespass that was previously given not to return to the CVS location. You were also appointed to Attorney Dabney, is that correct?
Yes, good night.
All right, Attorney Dabney?
Yes, Your Honor. I was just requesting for this case, at least the criminal trespass to be set for a PC hearing, Your Honor. And I have not actually had a conversation with Mr. Lawson. I tried to call the jail, but as there were some issues, and I was not able to speak with him. I tried to call
Okay.
twice yesterday and this morning.
Okay, all right. Excuse me, Ms. Cheater, would his date be the 31st as well for the PC hearing?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Lawson, Attorney Dabney is asking for a probable cause hearing. I believe I explained that the last time, but I'll go ahead and explain it again this morning. That's where the officer will be present. He will have a chance to be heard as well as you. There may possibly be some witnesses or victims present as well, but everyone will have a chance to tell their side. And then at that time, the court will determine whether a crime was committed and whether it's more likely than not that you are the person who committed the crime. If the court finds that there is probable cause, it moves to the next step. If there's no probable cause, then the charges are dismissed. Do you understand? I'm sorry,
All the time.
I can't hear you.
I didn't do it. Nobody on. Look to it, nobody did. Compared to nobody did. Somebody that did case.
Okay, good. 1 second, Mr. Lawson. It's difficult if you're moving. Can you repeat what you said? I can't hear you. You don't need to go down to the microphone. I think that's what makes it go in and out. I was just asking you if you understood what the probable cause hearing is.
Yeah, proper call here, you said if they don't have proper call, they would dismiss it.
Correct. If there's probable cause, then the case moves forward. Okay. And your bond remains the same, which I believe was $2,000. Okay. All right, sir. You'll be back on May 31st if you're still here. So have your probable cause hearing. Okay.
What the date is now?
Today is May 24th. So your hearing is going to be next week. 1 week from today.
Let's not find out.
Correct. All right, sir. We'll see you then.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Taylor. Mr. Taylor, you were here on Monday and informed of your charge of criminal trespass with a special condition to stay away from the location on Blount Street. Is that correct?
Yes,
And then you were appointed to Attorney Dabney, right?
yes, I did talk to my mama and I also apologize. And she told
Okay.
me she got another chance.
All right, and your mom, you see your mom in the screen, right?
Mama,
All right, hold on, Mr. Taylor. I'm gonna hear from Attorney Dabney, okay?
yeah,
All right,
And-
Attorney Dabney.
And good morning, Your Honor. As you know, this is my client, Mr. Taylor. He is 20 years of age. He does suffer from some mental health issues, Your Honor. I believe he's diagnosed with bipolar and schizophrenia. He is living with his mother, who is present. This incident did take place at the residence. After speaking with his mother, she informed me that he would not have anywhere else to go. She has no problem taking care of him. We believe that this incident occurred due to some mental health issues. Upon release, she is going to be taking him to Grady to get him reevaluated so he can get back on his medication. And she is here to answer any of your questions or any concerns as regards to bond. So in that nature, I will be asking for a signature bond in this case, given the fact that his mom will be the one posting bond. And I really feel like that money should be used towards getting him some his medications and other treatments that he may need in this case, Your Honor.
Thank you, Attorney Dabney. Ma'am, is your last name Taylor as well?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, if you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the information you provide to the court is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. The questions that I have center around the fact that this was a incident, I believe there was a brick thrown through a window.
Yes.
And then I did have a chance to look at your son's history. I believe there was an incident about 2 months or so earlier this year at the same location. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. I was at work that day, so I couldn't calm the argument or nothing down that day because I wasn't here. I was at work. But
you're speaking about the one in March?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Right. Well, do you feel safe to have your son come back and living with you at the Blount Street address?
Yes, ma'am. I never have felt unsafe. It's just that they won't nobody help me, and I've been trying to I gonna have him evaluated through Family Ties, and the therapist told me that he couldn't get him no medication for his bipolar schizophrenia because he has seizures. Mm-hmm. When I went to Grady and I asked them a lot of questions, they said it wasn't true. So I think he needs medication more than anything.
Okay. All right. Attorney Dabney is asking for me to allow him a signature bond, which means I would have to suspend the stay away order. However, I am going to put another condition on that he has no further violent contact.
Yes.
I just want to be sure that everyone is safe there. And while I may not be a medical expert, I am very much aware that there is medication that can be taken for his condition despite the seizures, and that's from personal knowledge.
Yes, ma'am.
So make sure when you go, you talk with the doctor and let them know what's going on. And Mr. Taylor, I don't know, you may have to express what's happening with you as well so that you can get the help that you need, okay?
yes, ma'am.
All right, do either of you have any questions, Miss Taylor?
No, ma'am, I thank you so much.
You're welcome. And Mr. Taylor, do you have any questions?
I have one question, Miss, I forget the name sometimes.
Judge Pitts?
Judge Pitts. I've been here for a while now, and
and I be in here, and I do miss her a lot. And I'm sorry with the mama. I'm sorry. I do miss her, but because I can tell you,
You're going in and out. Let me just say, I know you said earlier that you would apologize, and I appreciate that, and I'm sure your mom appreciated that as well. Attorney Dabney, anything further that you want to say or you want to add?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay.
Just
And
thank you.
You're welcome, Mr. Taylor. I'm going to allow you a signature bond, but you need to make sure you try to control what's happening with you and make sure you follow what your mom is asking you to do and any doctors, okay?
yes, ma'am.
All right, so you're going to be able to go back home. When is his next court date, Ms. Cheater?
Think it's July the 12th.
Okay, that's what's on his citation. Okay,
They didn't put one on the citation. So, but it'll be in one of the July dates. I'll have to print out the notice for him.
okay. And you'll get that, Mr. Taylor, before you leave, and we'll make sure that you're aware through Attorney Dabney, Ms. Taylor, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Does anyone have any questions?
No, ma'am. I thank you so much.
You're quite welcome and good luck. I hope everything works out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
You're very welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. So just so we're clear, I'm removing the stay away and implementing a no further violent contact.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Your Honor, is Ms. Taylor free to go as well?
I'm sorry, Ms. Taylor. Yes. I'm sorry. Sometimes even though we've been doing this for so long, I forget I need to release you. But yes, ma'am. Thank you for joining us. Okay.
Okay. Thank you
You're-
so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Mr. Day. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Attorney Dabney.
You're welcome. Thank you. And are we just waiting on the females to come out, Your Honor?
Well, actually, I showed two more people. One is three people, Mr. Baker. That might be a female. I'm saying Mr., but the juvenile, which is Dia Hines, is the last name. And
Okay.
then let's see who the other people are. Baker, I believe Baker is a male.
Yeah.
Baker is a male, and then Payne, I believe, is also a male. That's a female. So we have, I don't know if they're going to bring out the two females before they bring out Payne, but we still have three people,
Okay.
if I'm correct.
I know they said about an hour ago that Mr. Baker was being combative, so I don't know if he'll come out.
Okay. All right. So they'll probably bring the two female out then.
Okay.
And I think everyone saw the email regarding the appointment of Miss Dia Hines.
I did see it, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Taylor, if you stand up at the door, make sure they'll be able to see you so they'll know you're ready to go, okay?
Okay.
They may not be able to see you if you're sitting down.
All right.
Thank you.
I have one question.
Yes.
And you see, your mom told me I need some help. So I think that is true. I do need help, but I don't know what I'm not giving no help because I have seizures for.
So that's a question that you ask, talk with your doctor about, okay? When you go to see the doctor.
I don't know who my doctor is.
Your mom is going to take you. She'll take you to see a doctor either later today, but probably this week, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right, good morning. Are you Mr. Baker?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mr. Baker, you're here for two charges, public indecency and obstruction. But before I go any further, this is your first appearance, which means you're here for me to inform you of your charges, set your bond, and give you your next court date. You do have the right to an attorney, and you did fill out the application, and you are being appointed to be represented by Attorney Dabney. You have certain other rights. You have the right to a trial. At your trial, you have the right to see, hear, and cross-examine any witnesses that the city might bring to testify against you. You have the right to bring your own witnesses, and you have the right to testify on your own behalf. You also have the absolute right to remain silent and to know that your silence will not be held against you. In addition, you have the right to have a probable cause hearing or preliminary hearing on these charges. What that means is the officer will be present, possibly any victims or witnesses. Everyone will have a chance to be heard. The court at that time will determine whether it's crime was committed and whether it's more likely than not that you are the person who committed the crime. If the court finds that there is probable cause, then the case moves to the next step. If there is no probable cause, then the charges are dismissed, excuse me. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, again, your charge is public indecency and obstruction. Your bond amount is $1,000 on each charge for a total of $2,000. Will you be able to post bond?
Yes.
All right. Attorney Dabney?
Yes, Your Honor. And very briefly, he's actually been reset. He actually had a first appearance before, but he had some behavioral resets on this case.
Okay.
I do believe that there's some MH issues going on. Every time I try to talk to Mr. Baker, he either refuses to talk to me or indicates that he is not wished for my services. And I don't know if that's because of an underlying MH issue. I just can't really have a conversation with him that gets anywhere at this point.
All right, Mr. Baker, the person who just spoke, that's the attorney that's going to try to help you. But in order for him to do so, you will need to talk with him. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, he's going to try again to talk with you. You said it was already reset, or you were saying it's reset from his original probably?
It was reset from,
first.
yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you want him brought back on Friday or a different day?
Could we have him actually be brought back next week? Because after I talk with him, I would like to pre-try this case with Solicitor Weems since it is a local charge.
Okay, so is that going to be on Wednesday?
Yes, Your Honor, if possible.
Okay, Mr. Baker, your attorney's going to speak with you again regarding your case, and he's also going to speak with the solicitor to see if there's anything that he can work out on your behalf, okay?
Yes.
Do you have any questions?
All right.
I'm sorry? Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Baker. Good morning. I'm Judge Pitts. I'm going to make a brief announcement before we get started. Each of you have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one may be appointed to represent you. There is an application that you must complete and possibly a fee. You also have the right to a trial. At your trial, you have the right to see, hear, and cross-examine any witnesses that the city might bring to testify against you. You have the right to bring your own witnesses, and you have the right to testify on your own behalf. You also have the absolute right to remain silent and to know that your silence will not be held against you. Today, you're here for a first appearance. What that means is you're here for me to inform you of your charges, set your bond, and give your next court date. You also have the right to have a probable cause or preliminary hearing. At that hearing, the officer will be present, possibly any victims or witnesses. Everyone will have a chance to be heard. The court at that time will determine whether a crime was committed and whether it's more likely than not that you are the person who committed the crime. If the court finds that there is probable cause, then the case moves to the next step. If there is no probable cause, then the charges are dismissed. Again, that hearing does not take place today. It must be specially set. You're here for a first appearance, again, which means for you to find out your charges, set your bond, and give your next court date. All right, ma'am, if you'll tell me your name. At the window. The young lady with the mask on. Ma'am, I can hear you. Please tell me your name. What's your name? All right, Ms. Payne, you're here for probation violation for the underlying charge of disorderly conduct. This is from 2018. Are you aware of that?
I wasn't aware of probation. They said, send somebody in the mail, but I updated my address when I got here.
One moment. Right, this was a disorderly conduct that looks like it occurred in 2018. And on May 17th of 2022, you were placed on probation after entering a plea of guilty. You were given 6 months on probation. Give me 1 second. The probation warrant was issued in October of 2022 for your failure to comply. And let me make sure I see. Give me 1 more second. Okay. Are you saying that you weren't aware that you were placed on probation for this charge?
No, I'm saying that I had lost my phone because I had talked to a probation officer had reached out to me. I lost my phone and I called down because I had a probation officer.
Ma'am, one moment. I'm just making sure that you are aware that you are on probation.
When I first went to court. Yeah.
Okay, and you did not follow through. That's what the revocation is for.
That's about my address.
But it's not a hearing right now. But even if you did change your address, it's still your responsibility to inform probation and or the court that you've moved. So whether or not, so that's still considered a violation because you did not follow through. Officer Ghost is the probation officer. Have you had a chance to speak with Ms. Payne?
No, ma'am, I haven't had a chance to speak with her yet. I can call over to the jail and talk to her. I didn't know if she was going to be awarded court-appointed attorney, so I was just
I
waiting.
did not, yeah, I did not see an application. Excuse me. Let me see if I overlooked it. Give me one moment. No, Ms. Payne, I do not see where you've requested court-appointed attorney. So for the purpose of this probation revocation, are you representing yourself or will you be asking for a court-appointed attorney?
I'm not sure if this is my first, I don't know.
So you have two choices. You can represent yourself or you can have an attorney represent you. There's an application that you can complete if you don't think you can afford an attorney. But from that application will determine whether you qualify. So it's up to you whether or not you're going to represent yourself or whether you want to have an attorney assist you.
I'm not even sure, do I need an attorney?
I can't respond there, ma'am. That's your decision.
I'm not sure, so I guess not.
I'm sorry.
I'm not sure, so I guess not.
Does that mean you are going to represent yourself? I need a clear response, ma'am. Either you're going to represent, oh, okay. All right, so this case is going to be reset. It's just going to be Mr. Ghostis or Ms. Cheater.
It'll be reset for Wednesday.
Wednesday, okay, so your revocation hearing is going to take place next Wednesday, May 31st. But Officer Golston said he would speak with you regarding your probation, your probation violation. Okay, do you have any questions, Ms. Payne?
So I'm not going home today.
I don't know whether you're going home today. It depends on what you and Mr. Golston discuss.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Sorry.
No, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. If you'll let the other young lady have that seat. All right. You're Miss Dia Hines.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Hines, you're here for disorderly conduct. Your bond amount is $1,000. Will you be able to post bond?
What does that mean? Like, would I myself be able to pay it, or for someone in my family be able?
Either you or someone in your family.
I would have to ask.
Okay. One second. Right, I'm going to have Attorney Dabney represent you based on you being a juvenile.
Okay.
But in addition to the bond, I am going to place special conditions, which is to have no further violent contact. And that's with, I believe it's Ms. Hines. I believe her first name is Amy.
Yes, ma'am. So I have a question.
Yes.
So what does that mean by no more violent contact? Like,
That means you can't act violent towards your mother.
Okay, I thought you meant like, no more contact in general.
No, it says, I said no further violent contact.
Okay.
Attorney Dabney? You're on mute.
Okay, sorry, Your Honor, I was in another screen, but good morning, Ms. Dia Hines. My name is Attorney Dabney. I have been appointed to represent you for your East Point case. I will be giving you a call today so we can discuss how to resolve your case as well as how to go ahead and post bond and all those other things, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, no problem.
And Miss Dia Hines, excuse me, if you're not able to post bond, you'll be brought back on Friday. And Attorney Dabney, given that she's a juvenile, I didn't see any history.
Okay.
In the system.
Got you, Your Honor. Give me 1 second. I didn't know if Your Honor would be willing to entertain a signature bond at this time, given the fact that she does not have any history or if you would like for me to speak with her and get further information before you decide.
Well, I think there's a warrant on this case, so I would consider a signature bond, but not having heard from her mother, I'm not sure if her mother is wanting to allow her to come back to the home.
Okay, Your Honor, I understand. I'll talk to my client, and I'll also get her mother's contact information and reach out to her as well.
Okay. And let me look at one more thing. Yeah, based on the allegations, I'm not willing to do a signature bond at this time without hearing from her, from the alleged victim, who was her mom.
Understood, Your Honor. And I'll speak with my client and
Okay.
then talk to her. And if no further announcements today, I'll make further announcements on Friday, Your Honor.
All right. All right. Again, Ms. Dia-Hines, you'll be brought back on Friday if you're still here, okay? All right. Do you have any questions?
Yes, I wanted to know what a signature bond was.
If I were to grant a signature bond, that would simply mean you would sign your name and walk out of the jail and come back on a different day.
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
Yes, ma'am. So do I have, so you said the appointed court meeting would be on Friday and we're still here?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question.
You said that the appointed court meeting would be on Friday, this Friday or next Friday?
I think you misunderstood. The Attorney Dabney has been appointed to represent you. That's where the word appointment came in. Your court date is going to be this coming Friday, May 26th, if you are unable to post bond.
Okay, I understand now. Thank you.
Okay, you're sure? Okay, you sure?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you both. If you'll stand at the door, they'll be able to return you.
All right, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, I believe that concludes our calendar unless I've missed someone.
Yes, that was everyone.
All right. Thank you all. And I will be here to sign any orders. I know Monday I was out and about and didn't realize the time, but I'll be around.
All right, perfect. And I'll send you Mr. Geis's consent revocation shortly, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Y'all have a good day.